Last year, when Rachel Reeves put out her budget, I warned that tax rises would damage growth, that she was doing nothing to cut red tape or reduce energy prices, that the economy would stagnate, debt would go up, and we were in a doom loop. And as a result, she would be back for more. Well, despite the mainstream media like the BBC, the Times, and the FT being permanently surprised that inflation is higher than expected, the deficit is bigger than expected, growth is lower than expected, here we are. Anemic growth, higher debt than last year, still a record tax burden, more millionaires leaving Britain per capita than any other country in the world. To be fair to Reeves, she is not the architect of this failed Keynesian strategy that is bringing our country to its knees. She is just the latest auto pen in the Treasury. She is the first woman auto pen, and I guess that's something to be proud of. Because since 1997, Britain has been running a failing Keynesian economic policy. The money supply was expanded, leading to massive asset price rises, both after the financial crisis, where no one was punished for the gargantuan failures, and the COVID pandemic. This made houses unaffordable for the young and distorted the economy. This money bonanza was used to fund ever-increasing government spending, much of which is completely inefficient and counterproductive, like the bloated welfare state and so-called green economy. The state now spends 45% of GDP. Meanwhile, taxes have risen to a 70-year high. Energy prices are the highest in the Western world after a failure to use our fossil fuels and invest in nuclear. Even though we left the EU, red tape is worse than ever. This policy has been hardwired into our institutions that are increasingly unaccountable. The Treasury, the Office of Budget Responsibility, responsible for leaks, and by the way, the budget has got no more responsible since it was established in 2010, and the Bank of England. These people are unsackable, and as I found out when I was Prime Minister, wield huge amounts of power. In particular, they have a huge hold over Britain's supine media. So maybe it's not Rachel's fault, that rather than look at the facts, she believes the claims of the Treasury, the Resolution Foundation, and the BBC. That in fact we had had a period of austerity, and that any difficulties were down to Brexit or Liz Truss. She's now finding out in real time what the actual problems are. Today's budget is not a smorgasbord. It's a dog's dinner. It will make the housing market even worse. It will get rid of any incentive to save for a pension, punish the hard-working, and reward the idle. None of Britain's problems will be fixed, and growth will be even worse than the OBR's downgraded forecast. And next year she'll be back for more, if she's still there, unless there's a crisis in the meantime. Here's a better idea. Cut taxes, restrain welfare, get fracking, and rein in the Bank of England. In other words, implement the growth budget.